Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. Thank you so much for coming back. Well, no, this is your first time, so let's do it over again. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am grateful to have you here, and hopefully you enjoy the dialogue and the conversation that we're going to have today because I believe it's going to be thought-provoking. And I got some insight to share from my own experiences. And if you are a returning to center, thank you so much for coming back over here. I appreciate you guys so very much. And I am truly enjoying the content I've been able to get out, the conversations we've been able to have, the certain, trending topics that I've been able to like lend my opinion and perspective to. And yeah, being able to do it wholesome, in my opinion, in a wholesome way and in a thought provoking manner, like where there's actually some kind of foundational values, that allows my 2 cents not to just be judgmental, but actually like, hmm, I never thought about it like that. Or let me search this to see if I can find where I align with or don't agree with, that which has been presented. And that's what this platform is all about. It's not about me just like spewing out my thoughts and my feelings, but it's like giving some real layered perspective. Like critical thinking has been exercise. Whenever I speak, it's not just because I want to talk about something that's trending or that's viral or that's a moment for everyone else. I want to actually bring something useful to the conversation that a lot of times some people would consider being playing devil's advocate. I don't see myself that way, but I also know what my mindset used to be and what it is currently and how I found balance to still have my own beliefs and my own values, but present something that other people may not have considered based off of their beliefs and their values and life experiences. So even though I do talk about a lot of church topics, religious, spirituality, um, topics and foundational principles, I like to approach it without always relying on scripture, without always pulling out the Bible. I think that has become a crutch for a lot of people to not actually use their own minds and have their own thoughts and opinions about things that they may feel strongly about, and they don't know why they feel strongly about them or why they are so against them. Ask yourself as an individual with beliefs and values that may frame how you feel and how you live. Ask yourself, where do I get those beliefs from? Why do I have these feelings? Is this really a problem for me? Do I really see these people that way? Is this really a sin, or is it just a preference, right, that I may not agree with or exercise? And I like that. I like being able to do that and remove the religious um, scope, if you will, to allow people just to know who they are and where they get their opinions and their views from internally without the external choice of being a Christian or any other kind of spiritual being or religious, a part of any other religious organization. So that's what you're going to get over here on my platform. I just wanted to give that. I know it was a lot, but I like to give some kind of foundation because as we're growing over here on this channel, I believe that it's going to become very important for people to begin to understand that there need to be more voices where people are presented with their own autonomy. Like you need your freedom to say, to do, to choose, whatever works for you. We have to end this group think. We need to end this mass consciousness on one thing that blocks out other people who may be of of light or of benefit to us, but we have disassociated ourselves with certain people who don't think like we do, who don't believe like we do. And it's just not fair to us having a human experience and understanding that those experiences is what builds us up. It's what strengthens us. It's what adds layer and flavor to our lives. And we should seek not to be influenced by other people when it doesn't serve us, but to have life and do life with people who allow us to say, I didn't think about it like that. I never saw it like that. Thank you for presenting that to me. Actually, that doesn't bother me. It's not doing anything to me. Do you live your life? Make your choices, right? But I can still be in relationship with you and enjoy the aspects of who you are and what the benefit is to me. So I just used the word autonomy. And one thing you're going to learn about me over here on this channel is I love to give definitions. Okay. I'm going to get into the topic, but I like to give definitions so everybody understands clearly what is being said and how it's being used in context. So autonomy is defined as, child, the quality or state of being self-governing, self-directing, freedom, and especially moral independence. So it gives you your freedom to choose for yourself. It's your ability to govern yourself, not to be told or instructed or influenced, but autonomy is your ability to do what is best for you. Okay. And that's something that I know growing up in a, extremely strict religious home, I did not have autonomy. um, and I know as a child you shouldn't have autonomy just to do whatever you want to do, but I mean, like, as far as my beliefs, a lot of us didn't have autonomy with our spiritual beliefs, and to a certain extent, like, our own personal choices. We were instructed, we were directed, we were heavily influenced. Hell, we was, it was just removed. Don't ask me, don't ask me why. Don't do as I say, not as I do, right? And when that becomes your mindset and your upbringing, that's actually the principle that you carry on throughout your life. It starts at home, and then from there, you're, well, in home at home you're never really asked, like, why did you do that, or what made you do that, or what were you thinking when you did that. It was just a lot of, this is what you should be doing, this is what you're going to do. If you do something other than what I instructed you to do, you're getting in trouble, right? And it kind of breaks down and tears down your ability to make choices for yourself based off of what you like, based off of how you feel, and based off of what the result is going to be, whether it's pleasing to you or not. And when you don't have that, it's almost like declawing a cat, if you will. That's the analogy I'll use. You remove that innate ability to protect. You remove that ability to feel or to be guided, or um, yeah, it's a lot that goes into it. But I just know with autonomy, for me, I had to find it. I had to get back into this place once I left church, because when I was in church, my pastor, my leaders, my friends who were like way more spiritually focused than me, they were able to guide that part. Like, it was easy for me to give up or to continue to hand off that spiritual or that religious aspect of my freedom. I didn't really have my own views on stuff. I just took on the views of whoever was around me. And I'm completely fine with saying that, because that was my truth. When I was in church, I didn't really care about much to research it. I just took whatever someone said and made that my truth. I made that my fight. I made that my stance. And it really wasn't. And once I got out, I was able to see things like that song. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see it clear as day. And a lot of people would say, oh, you changed, you switched up because you left church, you didn't backslid and God ain't pleased. No, when I was there, I was letting you all control the narrative of my heart. But now that I'm removed, I'm able to truly flow in the love and the mercy and the grace that people in church talk about. I'm actually able to do that freely without any kind of guilt or any kind of conviction on whether or not people are deserving of it. Who am I to tell you you don't deserve to be loved by me or liked by me? Who am I to determine I want to withhold that when actually it may be hurting me to cut that part of myself off, when I could be being so much of a light and a blessing to others? So this is what that channel is about. Okay, yes, that's not the point and the topic of the video, but that's what the this is what this channel is about. And it's imperative that the mission and the vision is always, like, properly understood and conveyed for people who may find it and not know, like, do I belong here, should I be here, is this for me? Yes, it is. It's a safe space for you, and I hope you enjoy your time here and that you will share and be a part of the growth. So let's jump into today. The 3 points that matter most before I start any discussion: number one, you're not alone; number two, you're not crazy; number three, God, your creator, still loves you, and I do too. So it's going to be a great video because I found a post on Facebook. I came across a post on Facebook, and it was talking about this young lady was talking about how to spot monitoring spirits. And when I first saw it, I was like, monitoring spirits, what does this mean? Huh? And I would soon come to find out, honey. And I gotta say, great insightful thread. I will be giving a live reaction to it. I have not taken any notes. I'm going to be flushing this out as I read through these posts with you guys. I will show you the posts. I will not block her name out because I would love for you all possibly to go check her out, follow her, see if there's any other content that you guys enjoy, like, relate to, connect with, or anything like that. But this is simply I'm sharing this post specifically and talking about it because once I read what she had to say, I was like, damn, I know people like that. Oh my God. I know people very close to me like that. I know people that I talk to on a regular basis like this. And I've known that they were like this, but I just didn't have a name for it. And I'm not saying the name that she's given it is correct, right? You can name anything whatever you want to. So her calling this a monitoring spirit, I was like, dang, this explains in grave detail encounters that I've had and how I've had to switch up and change what I share because of this very thing. And so I can't wait to jump into it. The person's name is Bana Isk Ling. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a fake name. Who knows? But I'm gonna get into it. To date, when I just went back to this post on Facebook, it has 58,436 shares and over 15,000 likes. And she posted this 4 days ago. So since then, she posted it Tuesday. I'm recording this on a Saturday. So she has definitely gained traction, but she cut off the comment section, which I was so glad to see that. Shut the comments down, honey. So people can rebuttal and refute, but they can just read and gain the knowledge. I love that so much. So let's get into this talk about monitoring spirits. And her caption before she dropped the thread in the comments was how to spot monitoring spirits. So she starts off by saying, um, hold on. Um, let me, I don't know if she changed. She may have gone through and edited something. She may have. So let's do this. Okay, no, she didn't. She didn't. I just screenshot from a different point. Okay, gotcha. So she starts off by saying, what is a monitoring spirit? A monitoring spirit is a thought, is thought to be an unclean evil spirit that essentially monitors someone's behavior for the purpose of inflicting hurt or pain into that person's life. Monitoring spirits are manifested through jealousy. They go hand in hand. Someone can grow to be jealous of you, which means anyone um, can be subjected to be used as a monitoring spirit at any time. Now, I'm going to say this, like based off of each section of her post. Um, I definitely understand like that different characteristics of people can be viewed as spirits or energy, vibration, things like that. I'm going to use the terminologies that she's using just for the sake of the video, but be very clear. Growing up for me in church, everything was a spirit, y'all. Right? You got a lion spirit, you got a manipulation spirit, or you operating in this spirit of division, you're divisive. All of these things were considered spirits, and to be completely honest with you, they've never been positive. Just like in church growing up, the word manifesting was not positive. It was always conveyed or connected to something that was negatively being outwardly shown or done, a manifestation. It was never really like a good thing, a good outcome, a great reality that you were able to see on the outside. And so with her saying things like what a monitoring spirit is, I think to me, it is really giving the characteristics of this person and the demonstration that you're able to see the energy that they're operating and flowing in. And I got to tell you that so far I'm trekking with her because I was immediately like, dang, let me read the rest of this because I can I can definitely definitely connect. Okay. So she goes on to say a monitoring spirit is sometimes called sometimes called a masquerading spirit or a watcher. The monitoring spirits come to gather information to facilitate spiritual attacks, steal blessings, infect with sickness, sabotage success, and generally wreak havoc in your life. God does send warnings about monitoring spirits being present, and usually it will show up in your dreams as the following: someone who just stares but doesn't speak, black cats, dogs, black birds, rats, wolves, and insects. So, this to me sounds like someone who is connected spiritually. They have a high sense of um, discernment where they're able to either tell from experience themselves or situations that they've had with other people who have experienced these things, and it comes as revelation knowledge of this is what that was. And I say that as a person who myself, sometimes when people say things to me and they express things to me, I'm able to say this is what that is. Like, you can feel it, and given the context of the conversation or the consistent like happenings or occurrences of it, like the repeat occurrences of it, it's like this is what you're dealing with, this is what you're going through, this is what that person is operating in. And I think, to be honest with you, when you have a real relationship with yourself, like I said, the autonomy, when you have a real relationship with yourself and then a real relationship with your creator, baby, you are dangerous to people who try you. And I mean on so many levels, because people will think they're flying under the radar, but you are able to clock them. And I'm telling you right now, based off of what she's saying and based off of what I've experienced and I know, do not ignore when you feel that this is in operation in your life. It doesn't matter who it is that's doing it. Notice it, acknowledge it, and act accordingly. Don't try to baby it. Don't try to play it off. Don't try to downplay it. Don't try to act like, oh, they just this or that. No, you know when certain energy, spirits, if you will, or people are around you who make you feel as if though they're in operation of watching you and monitoring you, and things shift because of their presence. I have so many examples. Oh my goodness, it gives me chills. It gives me chills, but I'm about to share them. I'm about to be real with you. I'm about to share them because I know that these things have happened to me. So the first thing that comes to mind would be a couple of years ago when we were in Mississippi. We had friends that we worked in radio with, and we made a new set of friends who were actually connected with our boss. They were family with our boss, like close family, direct kids of our boss. And in full disclosure, right? So we were friends with a couple that was black. They were African American, a couple just like me and my husband. And the friends that we gained, that we became really close with, were white. They were a white couple. They were connected with our boss. One of the people were his son, to be specific. We got really close. We were best friends, you all, best friends. And we started hanging out and spending more time together. Now, these friends were, let's call them um, Brooke and Alex. Brooke and Alex were our age. Okay. So we were in the same age group. We were in the same season of life. We had the same things going on. Actually, I was expecting, then she was expecting. We were expecting at the same time. I think our children were CJ was born in May, and I believe their son was born like 3 months later in September. Yes, that's exactly when it happened. So May, 4 months, June, July, August, September, and their son was born in September. So we were super close and right there in the same vein and seasons of life. Well, our other friends were older than us. Let's call them Samantha and Tim. So you got Brooke and Alex, and you got Samantha and Tim. Samantha and Tim, we had been in a relationship with them, and we did radio with them. We did life. Like, we were cool. Great. They were older than us. They had more children than we did. They had three at the time. And we didn't have any when we first met them. And then we went on to become expecting with our son. And then by working closely in the same office, the same, like everything, we became friends with Brooke and Alex. Well, that became a problem for Samantha and Tim. And they began to watch us. We didn't know they were watching us and monitoring us, but everything we would do, everything we would say, anytime we would make reference to things we did with Brooke and Alex, they were getting upset about that. Anything we talked about doing, or places we'd been, or experiences we'd had, they clearly, it was envious and it was jealousy, and we didn't know it at first until um, they actually called us. They wanted to have a meeting. Samantha and Tim wanted to have a meeting with us, and we ended up talking to them over the phone. But they were talking to us about things they saw us doing on social media. And I'm sitting in my backyard on my patio. Literally, I remember it. I had them on speakerphone. My husband was back there with me. We're talking to them, and Samantha just goes in and starts saying things like, "Yeah, and you all have been spending a lot of time with, Brooke and Alex, and his mom was telling me how you all were with them for the 4th of July." And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. How does she know that we were, like, why does she know these things? Why is it even important? Like, what does that matter? But to her, what it seemed as if though was happening, there was a disconnect. She didn't like that we were no longer close to them. And what they started to do was watch us and monitor us to see if we were changing, because it was making them upset that we were getting closer to what most would consider the big dogs, right? We were getting closer to the big dogs. To them, it seemed like, oh my God, they may be able to get this instead of us. They may, be able to get these opportunities or these promotions, or the more that relationship grows, they may like them and be endeared to them more than to us. And this is so true when it comes to how people operate and what they look for to do and facilitate attacks. Like, their first instinct becomes to steal blessings, or to get in the way of success, or cause problems in your life, because they feel like they're losing control, or you're doing more than what they want you to do, or you're doing more than what they're doing. And whatever that looks like, you may be sharing with them thinking you're just sharing good news, or sharing, fun times, or information, or whatever. But to them, it is making their blood boil. They can't stand it. They've been watching you. Even before you share it, they've seen it, but they ain't said nothing. But then once it overflows and they can't help it, they let it all come out. So that would be my first time truly experiencing it with friends, because I'm like, ain't no way y'all in y'all 40s watching us and we 20. Like, why is y'all looking at me like this? Aren't we cool? But there are layers to people who have a monitoring spirit or energy, and come to watch and then hinder. Everybody ain't connected because they want to actually see you do well. They're just connected so that they can collect. Understand the difference. If you aren't connected to collect, you're a problem. If you're connected in order to help people grow and to catapult and to, be increased and to have more and do more, that's different. But beware of people who are connected to collect, because they don't mean you any good. And that's when it's good for you to disconnect. So this is like really great, helpful information here, that I never would have thought of until I saw this, and I was like, dang, this is what this was. And that would, again, like I said, that would become the first time that I would see it in operation. And then I will give later experiences as we continue with the post. So she goes on to say, now before I continue to explain, know that your family member or friends may not be aware they carry this spirit. Mm, mm, mm. Now I feel like I'm looking forward to Tara Link's feedback on this, because I love whenever Tara Links gives a comment and some insightful feedback. So when you see this, he's a subscriber. When you see this, please drop down and tell me your thoughts on this energy connection, or this spirit. How do you see this? What do you feel about it? And I'm looking forward to some of y'all other comments too, because I know you all can either relate to it, or not, or give some different perspective. And I always love to get you guys insight. So she says, now before I continue to explain, know that your family member or friends may not be aware that they carry this spirit. Everything is spiritual. That I agree with. We are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Everything that we do, we operate in an energy of um, creation. We operate in an energy of vibration. Like everything about us is that. That's how we hear sounds. That's how we see things. All of this stuff can be shifted and changed based off of what our experience is with it on a spiritual level. That's how you get people who can see things differently from a way and a perspective that you didn't, based off of their connection and the energy that it sends off or gives to them. I don't want to veer off here, but I am definitely aware of people's energy, like operation, and how it shifts my energy, like how I feel, even with my children. If they come into my space and something ain't right, they're arguing, causing problems or whatever, you may want to shake that, but you have to do work to be able to shift according to the environment and what you're being presented with. Does it send you up higher? Or are you able to remain level and balanced to bring a solution and then turn that situation back around to calmness and to peace, where you're not frazzled and upset and anxious, feeling. So you can tell when people bring certain energies to you, because it affects your spirit, it affects your energy. I'm like that when I listen to certain things or watch certain things. I may feel chills, my body may tense up, I may feel happiness. Your body responds every time something shifts or changes. And so this is great to know. Everything is spiritual. Not everything is religious. Be clear here. Spiritual, not religious, but spiritual. So although to them they may be asking random questions or their intentions are pure, the monitoring spirit may be upon them, collecting data and planning to use for bad. Oh my God. I just told y'all that people either come to they connecting or they collecting. They come to connect so they can collect, okay? They're not coming to connect so that they can help you go up, do great things, use it for a reference point for the future. People come to collect. And with this is, again, it can be for your benefit in some situations, possibly, but when they're in operation to be in opposition, they're coming to collect, as she stated, to use certain things for bad. A conversation that started about news will be redirected to your plans. I've had this happen. I've had this happen. When a conversation starts off cool, calm, happy, whatever. And this is another thing that I'm aware of now that I didn't used to be as it relates to family and friends. My my willingness and my joy and excitement to share good things. I wanted to, because of who it was being shared with. I'm like, oh, you never think that someone that's super close to you, that has been a part of your life like forever, right? You never think that that person could be your problem. You never think that that person will become kind of like the ops, right? Your opposition. You never think that. So you end up sharing and divulging things out of your authenticity and your desire to be transparent and just share good news, but they don't want to know that. They don't feel that way. They're there to collect so that they can then bring a different energy into the picture. And I will definitely say this: people who are on the outside of your circle or in your sphere of influence can't really introduce energy to your life or your experiences unless they have direct access. And I know people say they like to move in silence and all of those other things. That's cool if that's what you want to do, but you get to a point in your life where you cannot move in silence. You just can't. I cannot move in silence. I can't. There are certain things that now, because I've done in my business, with my career, publicly, I cannot move in silence. There are certain things that you're just going to know because it's public knowledge. You're able to view it. You're able to go look it up. You're able to follow it or whatever you want to do. It's visible. So while I may not share the beginning of it, once it becomes public knowledge, I can't do anything about it. But what you can do about that information or certain steps or instances in your life is not shared even when it's in the infantile stages. Because even though people may not be able to stop you from getting something or doing something, they can introduce energy to your space or your being that makes you shift how you feel about it. And I believe she's going to talk about this too, which is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful, because I've had conversations that start off about one thing, someone else, good news that I was sharing about someone else, or we're just talking back and forth about mutual people we know. And then somehow it ends up asking me questions about what I'm doing. How is this going? And it's not from a happy perspective. You can tell when people are asking you questions about something you have going on from a genuine place of caring and wanting to hear the good news, and when they're just asking so that they can collect and possibly introduce some kind of resistant energy to what you're sharing. That matters, because some people will ask from a perspective of, oh my goodness, girl, how is that going? Like, what you got going on? Because y'all are always doing something, and I just love that. Or it comes from a place of, girl, I've been following and I see y'all did X, Y, and Z. Y'all, girl, you are over there killing it. That's a different energy from, so how's your business going? Have you been, have you been affected by the supply chain, or, is da 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 happening? Have you been having customers complaining about anything? And it's like, no, we good. And even if there is something, if you in the beginning, if you may not have known that they were collecting and watching, right, and monitoring, you may have in the past opened up and shared, like, girl, yes, like, actually, yes, we have been affected by that. Yeah, we have seen a decrease in sales. We haven't been getting as much traffic. You're sharing thinking that you're just being authentic and giving updates because they asked and you feel safe, but not knowing that you sharing that and saying that makes them happy. It makes them feel like, good, yes. And when they get on their next call, or when they talk to somebody else who may be singing your praises, or giving you some kind of, accolades, they be like, girl, I was just talking to her. She was saying that they ain't been doing good. They ain't been making no sales. They didn't have to, cut back on this or whatever. They've been collecting so that they can use that later on in a way that's not for your good, may not be favorable, to shift people's thoughts and mindset concerning you. Be mindful. For people who connect, they come to collect. Be mindful of people who only connect to collect. That is very, very real. Next, she says, this is why it's important to know when to speak about certain things. My God. Funny how after you told Auntie Becky you were getting a new home, now the builder suddenly found a foundation problem. Or funny how you told your friends you met a nice guy or woman and everything was going so well for you. Now the person's demeanor has changed. I lie not to you, okay? I lie not to you. This finna get good, okay? So in 2020, my business had the opportunity to be on Good Morning America. We were on Good Morning America, um, did exceptionally well. I went from making my product myself to having to hire over 16 people in a week's time because we did so well. We were featured on some of the largest platforms and publications that you could imagine, from Thrill List to the Food Network, Delish, Cosmopolitan, just to name a few. And during this time and this opportunity, this was at the height of COVID. COVID had just broke out in March of 2020. We had this opportunity in June of 2020. And it was everything that I prayed for. It was everything that I visualized. It was everything that I had claimed and affirmed for my business and for myself. I truly had done the work in order to bring an opportunity like this to the table. And I was grateful. I was eternally grateful for it. And it was life changing. And I specifically remember doing all of the things leading up to it with so much joy and so much gratitude and so much excitement, and how things were just happening, like miraculous things were just firing off. Opportunities just kept coming, and great things, everything was falling in place. even though I didn't have a facility at the time to get all these orders out, I didn't have the infrastructure or the process. It was like there was so much grace for me to do and operate in these things. Even for my husband, we were like figuring it out in the moment, and things were going so well. We had so much um like synergy. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I now know what I didn't know then. I made the grave mistake of sharing it with someone who didn't have that same grace, who didn't have that, who wasn't a part of the synergy that we created. And leading up to it, I should have noticed it, but I didn't. I didn't notice it. There were opportunities that I had presented for this individual to be a part of it. They declined. And it was shocking, but I didn't push it. And so we would go on to actually have the feature. It would be a huge thing for us. We did amazing, amazing. Just to give like some context, we sold over 150,000 products in one day, right, from this sale. And so that was on a Tuesday. By that Thursday, I literally fell ill. I fell ill. I was in the bed, could not lift my head from a pillow, y'all. I felt horrible. Um, and at the time, it never hit me that I had COVID. I never thought that it was COVID because, like, who would I have been around? COVID was still so new to us. We didn't know about, being asymptomatic, like having it but not really having symptoms. We didn't know about all of that. All that stuff would come on later in the summer and in the year. They would come out with all these different ways and forms to tell if you had it. So by that Thursday, I was 2 days after being on national television. Okay, I was sick. And I mean, I felt so bad. And I had a house full of folks working around me, 16 people working. And it never hit any of us that I had COVID. It was just like, just get you some rest. Maybe it's the stress or anxiety of what's happened that's causing you to feel like this, right? And so my sister was here, my husband, they helped. They helped so much. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for my tribe. And the next day, I was over it. It was gone. It was no longer in my system. Whatever it was went away, right? Okay. So fast forward to the following week, we're still producing products, getting stuff out, shipping orders, shipping thousands of orders out. And next thing I know, my husband starts having symptoms, starts feeling bad, saying he feels sluggish, his energy is down, his body starts to hurt. And I was like, immediately, he has COVID. Like, I felt it, but I ain't say nothing. But I was like, nah, he ain't got it because this is horrible. This is horrible timing. So he goes to get a test. I take him to the emergency room up the street. We can't go in, me and my children. So we take him in, and then he calls me to come back and get him because it was like a 2-3 hour wait or whatever. This is when they weren't letting people just walk in whenever they wanted to. You had to have an appointment, whatever. He called me to come get him. They confirmed he did indeed have COVID. Y'all, when I tell you my world stopped, I did not know what to do. I did not know what to do. I was right on the heels of one of the most successful moments in my entire entrepreneurial journey. I have the love of my life who is facing a disease that at this, and I'm sorry, I don't want to say a disease, an infection. How about that? An infection or a virus that is all over the news, widespread. At this point, we hadn't known anyone directly who had it. So I'm like, oh my God, is my husband going to live? Like, that was where we were because we're watching the news with all of these people not living. Okay. So it's fear. People on respiratory, you know, machines, and people having heart problems and people having problems breathing. I was scared. I have two small children. What am I going to do? I have a 2-year old, right? And I have a 4-year old, and I have a husband who I don't know what's happening right now. And then I have all of these team members and employees that I need to call and tell. Now, mind you, at this time, I'm going through all of this internally, not realizing that if you want to go to the religious side, when people be like, you had an opening, right? I had already been up against something that aligns with like what this person is talking about, or watching a monitoring spirit. I'd already put out there the joy and the goodness and the great things that were coming. And immediately after that happened, it seemed as if though there was an unfolding of pure evilness, like just ridiculous stuff that had not been in my way at all prior to this. Everything was unfolding perfectly, to be exact. And then to have this happen, it blew my mind. We had to shut down production. I had to call all of my team members and tell them to go get tested immediately. We had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So now I got ABC execs that I had to make a call. When we got him back home, we immediately quarantined him. We have to stay away from you, which at this time we'd been around him for God knows how long it had been in his system, and until it started having outward, manifestations, right? Outward symptoms, we didn't know. But I believe he got it from me. I believe I had it the week before, but I was what they would consider asymptomatic. So I believe I had something, and I probably got over it sooner. And he ended up getting it, and he did not get over it. Two other of our team members tested positive, and they would then tell me, and I'm faced with all of these orders plus 5,000 back orders at this time that we had to cancel. Y'all, I need y'all to understand. I need y'all to understand what I just said. We had 5,000 orders that we had to cancel because we could not get them out because of this situation. Now we got the first 5K out. I'm so grateful for that. But the back orders, we were not able to capture. And at that time, I didn't care. And to this day, I don't regret it because we were able to get that back. I'm grateful for that. But at that time, I just knew I had to step up and make a decision and not be selfish, but really consider my home and my family at that point and make that call. And I had to do it all by myself because by that time I felt alone. I didn't have anybody to tell, to talk to, or to turn to. And I wasn't going to turn back to the person I shared the good news with earlier because even I felt slighted because I'm like, dang, maybe if this person was here and maybe if they cared, I wouldn't be going through this or whatever. I don't have anybody. And so I didn't tell anyone. I went through that. I cried that one day, never cried again. I figured it out. I kept working, kept doing fulfillment by myself, kept producing, sanitized the hell out of my home, my living room, my kitchen area, all of that. Got it out, got what I could get out myself. My sister came back over, and so it was just a team of two for a couple of days. And then my husband's best friend out of Philadelphia, David, shout out to David. David came to Texas, and knowing that my husband had COVID, but he was upstairs, he wasn't in our midst, right? But knowing that it was that love and it was that community, and David was like, no, I'm coming, bro, like I'm coming. And we got him a flight out here, we got him a hotel room, all of that. He used my husband's car since my husband couldn't drive. He used my husband's car, whatever, to get back and forth to here in the hotel. He came and he helped me and my sister to get the rest of the orders out that we had to get out from the first 5K. And it was the 4th of July weekend. So we did a little barbecue, whatever, and then we got right back to work. And at that time, I didn't know why all of that happened. And then we would get another opportunity to go back on GMA. I'm gonna try to wrap this up. We got an opportunity to go back on GMA. And once we did, guess what happened? I shared the news again with the same person that I had before. And I got sick again, just like I had before. I got sick again. And it was like a toothache, but it turned into a migraine that made me feel so nauseous and sick that I couldn't lift my head. Didn't want to do anything, couldn't open my eyes. It was horrible, y'all. It was horrible. And at that time, that's when I made the connection. I told my husband, I said, I don't know why. I said, I don't know why this would be happening. I don't know why anyone would want this to be the situation. I said, because I am of high energy. I am excited. I am in a good place. By this time, we were in a facility. We had gotten our own building. We were literally leveraging every door, every opportunity for our good. And I was like, we're doing all of the right things. Why is something like this happening? And it came to me. This person, this person, that's all I'm going to say. And my heart dropped. Like my stomach felt so sick and so nauseous. But from that moment forward, I never said anything else. I never shared any more good news, never put anything else out there, never made this person the go-to share any opportunities or anything, like none of that. I just stopped sharing because I started to realize that this was opposition. I was literally hand feeding my opposition information. And that is problematic. And you don't know you're doing it until things continue to happen, specifically as you connected from you did these things. These are the steps you took. You shared this, you said this, you showed this. And then after that, this started switching up and changing. It may not be everyone, but there are certain people who have access to you to interfere with energy that you may be putting off, or ways that you may be connecting with vibrations you may be offering towards that. And I got to tell y'all, it ain't happened no more. It has not happened anymore. And opportunities have continued to come, and I've continued to say nothing. I've continued to share nothing. When they find out, it's when the rest of the general public finds out. If it's sent in an email, if it's posted on social media, if it's put out in a press release, that's when they find out with the rest of the population. Because I cannot afford to continue to feed your monitoring spirit. Okay, let's get into these last posts. She says, they will bring up things you've publicly done or said, but you will not see them publicly. They will bring up things you've publicly done or said, but you will not see them publicly. My. For example, if you've launched a new business, they will mention it to you, but they will not have been in your likes or issued a congratulations. My goodness. Accuracy. Accuracy. I've had it happen. I've had this happen several times on in different ways with people, but mainly with the person that I'm speaking of as well. Will have said nothing to me about it. Will have said no congratulations or anything. Nothing. But then a couple of weeks or months later, we'll say, oh yeah, such and such had mentioned they saw this. Or yeah, I saw where you all did this. And how did you get that? How did that come about? Did that bring you a lot of business? Did you get a lot of orders from that? And I'll say yes or no. And it's usually yes, always. But I'll just say yes and leave it at that. Like, oh yeah, that was a cool thing that happened. Um we enjoyed that feature. I keep it real basic. Because how is it that you know these things happen and you didn't say anything to me? You noticed it happen. You noticed this opportunity came, or that we did these things. But even though we're in close proximity or we talk often or whatever, you never mentioned it. And it's great. I like that she said earlier, sometimes your family and friends don't even know they operate in the spirit. Maybe this person don't know that they operate in the spirit. I know they do. And maybe they think that I'm still blind to what they're doing. But you should put two and two together eventually and say, dang, she don't tell me about nothing no more. And don't. And if they were ever to mention that I don't, I would then make them aware of what I know. I haven't said anything because they ain't said nothing. But if they ever were to say to me, why you don't tell me X, Y, Z no more? Like, girl, you don't never mention this. You never bring this up. You don't even be telling me the good news. No, because the times that I have, things have gone wrong. The times that I have, you've completely ignored it or skated past it. Like I didn't say anything, like I didn't send you pictures or show you things or send you links. You've ignored them. You've ignored text messages with good news. You've ignored videos with good news. And then you'll come back to that same text thread and send me a picture or video of somebody else or a quote graphic or something. I don't want to see none of this stuff when I'm telling you about literally life-changing stuff that's happening for me. You're ignoring it like it didn't happen. That is trying to literally discourage you. Those kind of actions are sent to discourage you. When you have people who cannot affect your moves, they can't stop you from being you. What they will try to do is withhold congratulations or withhold happiness from you. Oh, I know I can't affect her. I know I can't stop him. But what I can do is act like I don't care once they tell me. What I can do is act like it ain't that big of a deal when they show me. They know they can't stop you from being you, but what they can do is withhold their joy from you. They can withhold their approval from you. They can withhold their accolades from you. It is emotional manipulation. In their minds, yeah, everybody else may be congratulating them and telling them this, but I ain't gonna do it. They know that that's the only way that they can affect you. Remove that power and that access. Don't share anything. Don't say anything. Don't show them anything. Let them find out with everybody else and ignore it with everybody else. Or just ignore it, period, while everybody else gives you your flowers and your accolades, your congrats, all of that. Because, see, they can't affect what they can't access. You can't hurt my TV if I don't let you in the room where the TV is, right? You can't hurt my marriage if I don't give you access to my marriage. You can't hurt my children if I don't give you access to my children. You can't hurt my mind if I don't give you access to my mind. But the games are easy to be played. The monitoring is easy to be done. The watching is easy to be done if they have access to you. Cut it off. Monitoring spirits will not celebrate you, repost, or comment. If your friends or family are reposting and resharing your work, rest assured they do not carry a monitoring spirit. The facts. Anyone who shares anything about you, comments, likes, congratulates, and I'm saying this from a social media perspective, right? But even internally on family threads. Like, my husband has family who I love his dad's side of the family. I love his mom's side of the family is cool too, but I love his dad's side of the family because they really support him. Us, they support us. They order from our business consistently, right? Even with that, they ain't got to send a text message and tell them like, nephew, I just got this. Nephew, I just ordered this. Cousin, I just got some more, y'all. They don't say nothing. I just be going through orders for the day or looking at fulfillment or whatever's gone out and see that, oh, wait, dang, she just ordered 10 bags. Okay. And then I'll tell them, I'll be like, yeah, your cousin such and such just ordered something. That is, you can rest assured they're not watching you to collect from you and then use it against you in other settings. Because people who don't want to see you do well or just monitoring to make sure you're not doing well enough or better than them, they ain't finna tell nobody else about none good you got going on. Rest assured, they're not finna do that. They're not finna stay updated for good updates. They'll stay updated just to have something to say or to look at or to see. Like they say, when people come back to check to make sure you ain't make it, hurt their feelings. Every time you come over here and you refresh the page, you're gonna be pissed off. Cause ain't none over here stopped. Ain't none over here stopped going up in a major way. And that's all respect to you being able to discern and see, I needed to cut this off. I needed to stop saying this, stop showing this, stop sharing this. Not from everybody. You don't have to cut everyone off. You don't have to operate in silence with everyone. You just need to do it with key people. And your discernment needs to be up to know when it is the right time to do it with those people. Don't operate in a closed off space with everyone, because everyone don't feel like that. And you would then be cutting yourself off from celebration and from love and from appreciation and support. I haven't cut myself off from everybody supporting me, loving me, and showering me with congratulations. I want that. I'm not doing anything that I'm doing for any other purpose other than what I create to be enjoyed. So I want people to say, good job, thank you, I love this, keep it going. You're inspiring. That makes me happy because no one's doing anything that they do for the good to be ignored. Everything that we do as humans is for two reasons. Well, for really one reason. You will feel good in the having of it. It will make you happy. It will bring you joy, and those around you will see it and share that emotion as well. So people acting as if they don't care about what people say, that's not true. You do. Nothing you do is so that people will ignore it and not care. That brings you more fulfillment and joy. You may enjoy it first, but you definitely share it and look forward to sharing it so other people can congratulate and notice it too. Don't cut yourself off from that. Just cut these people off from you. And her last paragraph says, you will feel restrained when it comes to having them on social media. You may get this feeling to hide posts from them. If you don't feel comfortable expressing or posting great news without hiding a specific person, this may mean they carry a monitoring spirit. Mm-hmm. 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 I've told you guys earlier, like maybe 2 years ago in one of my videos, that when that opportunity happened for me in business, I the week before I deleted every single person from the 219 area code that I had not talked to since I had gotten married. Everyone, everybody that I had met, that everyone that I knew before I got married and moved, which was in 2009, I deleted them. Every church member, every classmate, every old coworker, I deleted them off of social media before I had my national feature. I removed them because I had been feeling exactly what she just said. I have been feeling a sense of restraint. I hadn't really felt free to post even good things that happened with the business or marketing or anything like that. I was already keeping the two separate, which is what I know allowed my business to do as good as it did, because I was already not operating in the vein of these people need to support me in order for me to be successful. I had separated the two because I didn't want people to look at me like I thought I was all that or whatever. It's a lot of mental gymnastic that goes into this, which makes you live a life in bondage. And it's not fair to you. If you have something great, something good, but you're restricting yourself for the people perception that you're in bondage and not able to access the people who don't know you and don't care about any of that stuff, who just want to support you. And what you have may be of interest to them. Don't cut that access off to them, just cut the access off to the other people. So in that, I got that release. I was like, I'm just going to delete everybody. I don't care if they want to see anything that's going on. Once this good news is released, they can go to the actual brands page. If they haven't liked the brands page, that's their problem. They should have done it by now. We've been in business for over a year, right? I didn't make no grand announcement on social media. I just deleted people. I think my friends list on Facebook at the time was like 1,100 or 1,200 people. I went down to 146 folks. Play with your mama, don't play with me. I'd be serious about the disconnect, because you have to realize that as you seek to go higher, there are things that you're going to have to remove in order to go. And that's in every area of life. It's not a bad thing. No, all 900 of those people didn't do nothing wrong to me. They just hadn't done anything to actually help me to evolve. They weren't a part of my evolution. I'm going to remove you and start fresh and anew. If you want to see anything I have going on, you can do that over here on the business page. You do not have to be a part of my friends list to do that anymore, because you've been over here and we haven't been engaging with each other. It ain't just them, it's me too. So let me go ahead and cut this dead weight for both of us. And sure enough, once the good news hit, you get all these people sharing your post. You get all these people congratulating and saying these things. Thank you. I'm so glad you can find your way over to this business page to say that, because you weren't saying it on my personal page. It's not being petty. It's being proactive. It's being respectful of yourself and your own energy. See yourself as valuable enough to be respected emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I require from you what you require or you should be requiring from me: consistency, right? Communication, support. And if I can't give that, if you want to be a silent watcher and viewer, not a problem. I respect that. Do that on the professional platform, because relationship to me is more than just you connecting to collect. I can no longer be that space. I can no longer be that opening for you to do that. That's not fair to me. I'm letting you take up space in my life that could be for someone who truly wants to help see the growth, be a part of the growth, connecting with me for growth, allowing me to give my resources and share that for their growth. I can't do that if I have you in my midst sucking things away, removing things from me, blocking things with your energy. It's just not fair. So this is so it's so spot on, and it's so amazing. As much as we may love our friends and family, they too can carry spirits sent from the enemy to not allow our dreams to prosper. But rest assured and know that whatever God has planned for you will come to pass. Be mindful and test every spirit. And y'all, if y'all don't know how I feel about blaming things on Satan or the enemy, I don't really agree with all that, because I feel like the enemy doesn't make people do anything. There is no enemy. That those are your feelings and your emotions. There's two emotions that we operate in as humans: love and fear. If you operate in love, I'm not going to call that God. If you operate in fear, I'm not going to call that Satan. Love and fear are the two emotions that we as humans operate in. If you love me, you want what's best for me. If I love you, I want what's best for you. I'm going to do whatever that takes to make sure that my part in your life exemplifies that, mirrors that, shows that, demonstrates that, unequivocally and unapologetically. If you love me, you'll do the same. You won't do things that hurt me. You won't do things that withhold your love or your respect or your appreciation for me. That's not okay. That's you operating in fear of you not having that, fear of you wanting that, fear of me not connecting with you anymore because you're not doing the things that I'm doing. That's fear. Fear will make you operate in ways that love could never. Fear will have you operate in thinking things that have not happened and have no space to happen, but you have created it. Fear separates you from love. The end. So if you have someone who has been in demonstration of watching you and monitoring you, understand that that comes from a place of fear, because if it was love, love can't keep you from showing it. Love doesn't know how to mask itself. Love doesn't mask itself as jealousy. When people have told me, oh, they just act like that because they love you. What? Do. And I'm not one of those people to say, well, they sure got a funny way of showing it. No, that's not love. And I'm not going to let you gaslight me. You don't love me and want to hurt me. You don't love me and speak negatively about me. You don't love me and make plans and plots to destroy or to expose, right? You don't do that. Love doesn't do that. We already understand and we already know, because we felt it in one time or another, whether it was in a relationship or with family, with your parents, with your siblings. Love is an overwhelming feeling that will not allow you to operate in hate, bitterness, resentment, anger, strife, fear, or any of that. I don't get upset with my husband because I love him. Now, this is just my interpretation of it. For me, he may do some things that annoy me, but just getting downright disgusted and angry with him and want to fight him or cuss him out or leave him or anything like that, I don't feel that. Because love cannot be penetrated by fear to the extent that it's still the same. Well, I love you, and sometimes I'll be thinking like this. No, you have a lot going on that you need to learn how to manage or figure it out, because the both can't be in operation. So here, I would like to encourage you to be aware, even if you have some of the characteristics that have been listed here, being a watcher or a monitor of people, find you something to love. Find you something to enjoy. Find you something to do that does not include having a problem with other people who are doing what they desire. When you are busy, and I don't just mean like just being a busybody here, there, everywhere with no point, no purpose, but when you are busy and about the business that actually serves you and makes you happy, you will not have time to watch and monitor other people's happiness. And y'all in church say that the Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. A lot of people are on a mission for that. And equally, a lot of people are on the mission of love, to support and care, to be loyal and honest. So I'm not going to give all the shine to the negative. There are just as many positive aspects of being in alignment with those who want to see well for you. And so having discernment is key, is everything. And I just encourage you to open yourself up to discern more, to know and to feel when things shift and change. When you share things, what changed? When you see things, what changed? And it's not always going to be just because they don't share or post anything on social media. Everybody ain't on social media like that, right? So don't just let the social media side of things make you feel like people don't like you or support you. There are other things that you can definitely identify that will let you know if people are watching you. And I just gave y'all several instances. Never one time did I talk about somebody not sharing or reposting. I gave you life on life instances of conversations, of actions shifting, of sickness coming, losing things that would have literally changed my family's whole life well, it did, but losing all that I did in that one moment. I got it back, thank the Lord. But in that moment, I lost 5,000 orders that had been paid for and were ready. That money was ready to come to me, and I had to say bye. Okay. That loss, that kind of loss, is only connected to a kind of fear that love could never exist in the midst of. So this monitoring conversation, this monitoring spirit conversation, is a deep one. It's a good one. And I'm just glad that we've had this conversation. Hopefully you guys can get something from it. Let me know if you've ever experienced a monitoring spirit or a watcher. Do you have one in your camp right now? If you need me to tell you how to get rid of it, let me help you, honey. Revoke, restrain, decline access. Information, filter it. Your feelings will become strong enough for you not to even feel the pressure, like, oh my God, I just got to tell somebody. No, you don't. No, you don't. Hold on to your joy and your peace as long as you can. As long as you can, identify it, acknowledge it, and act accordingly. Your future will thank you for it. And if you do feel alone, find you a community. That's why I'm grateful for this platform where we can share and talk and give real life on life experiences. Not some stuff that I think, but things that I know have happened. I know these things have happened to me. And I hate that they did, because it did change the way that my relationship is with certain people. But I'm okay with it because I've been able to hold on to my peace and my joy longer. Now I don't talk about things with people prematurely before they need to know. You'll find out with everybody else, respectfully. And ain't nobody asked me why they didn't know prior to, because they know how they're operating. You know you didn't mean me no good. Why would you want me to tell you? Get away from me. Go away from me with this. Because you don't want that. You don't want me to call you out. So respectfully, continue to choose you, continue to choose your peace, continue to discern and to act accordingly. You are not the problem. And I'll be honest with you, they're not even the problem. They're not your problem. They're not. You choosing you is the problem. Operating your autonomy. That's your freedom to govern yourself and to do what's best for you, respectfully, but unapologetically. All right. Okay. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it and comment below. I would love to hear your input and to just, keep the conversation going of instances that you recall and that you've been watched or monitored, or if this is currently happening to you, how does it make you feel and how will you get away from it? How will you escape? Because freedom is definitely the focus in these kind of instances. And shout out to Banisk Banaisk Ling for this thread. It was powerful indeed, very enlightening, and it helped me to identify what I dealt with in the past and give it a name. I'm grateful for that. If you guys enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe to the channel. I would love to add you to my 2 cents crew. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.